What's up, Cat Gang? After I got a good night's sleep, I went back and did a deep dive into the Solar Eclipse Event trailer because I knew there were some things that I missed in my original trailer breakdown video, like the fact that the freaking event tower's in the trailer. How could I miss that? Go ahead and hit that like button if you think I need eye surgery because I missed something so important. So that's where I'm gonna start. As soon as I posted my last vid, people in the comments were like, bruh, check at 113 to see the event tower. So I went back and looked, and sure enough, you can see the tower that's been teased for this event standing right there holding an axe. Now, I do have good reason for not seeing this tower initially. Come on, it's dressed in all black and it's only on the screen for 15 frames. I know this because I put the video into my editing software and counted each individual frame. This means it's only in the trailer for half a second. But even though it's only on screen for such a short amount of time, we still get a lot of information from it. Let's start by comparing the tower that we can see in game to the image that Below Natural leaked in the TDS Discord back on October 29th. My first impression is they look pretty different. I want to point out up front that we don't know anything about what this tower looks like at all of its different levels, so it's completely possible that the tower in game is at max level, while the image that Below released was what it looked like at its base level. I'm pretty confident that what we see in game is the tower at max level because I know for a fact that every other tower in this image is maxed, so I think it's a reasonable assumption to make that the new tower would also be maxed. Another thing these two images have in common is both are wearing headphones. This was really hard to see until I slowed the video way down to examine each frame. Now, of course, another huge giveaway that these are the same tower is the axe. Take a good look at it in this image and compare it to the freeze frame right here. Obviously, it has the same double-sided blade, and that cannot just be a coincidence. Now, if all of this evidence isn't enough proof for ya, here's the man himself, John Roblox, confirming that this is, in fact, the Executioner Tower.
This is the Executioner. It was leaked on TDS Discord itself.
So now that we know that this is the event tower, we can examine some of the differences between the image Below released and how it actually looks in game. Again, these differences could come from the fact that these are two different pictures of the same tower but at different levels, but that still leaves me with the question, why does it have glowing red eyes in this picture but not in this one? Do towers typically gain eyes as you upgrade them? Maybe he doesn't need eyes at the lower levels because he's not throwing his axe yet. Oh wait, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Another thing that's different in game from the original leaked image is that all the cool lights on his shoulder pads and headphones are missing. Hopefully that's something he has at the lower levels because they're really sweet looking. Of course, one possibility that I haven't mentioned yet is that this video footage could have been recorded either before or after the leaked image was made, so the tower could have gotten a complete visual reworking, and that's why it looks so different. Now back to what I was saying about the axe throw. This is another thing that I completely missed in the trailer, but you can very clearly see a black axe going back to the event tower in this image. It's literally only on the screen for 3 frames, which is just a tiny fraction of a second. So I guess I shouldn't be too hard on myself for missing it, right? But now that we see it, it confirms something very important about how this tower is going to work. It looks like it's going to be a mix between the slasher and the gladiator, where it can swing the axe as a melee weapon to hit enemies that's close to it, but it can also throw the axe at enemies when they get outside of its swinging range. And this is really interesting because of how far the tower is going to be able to throw the axe. Look at this image right here. You can see the trail of the axe as it comes back to the tower, and look at where the enemies are standing that he's throwing at. They're so far away, way further than the range for the slasher's throwing knives. This means that even though it's a melee tower, it's going to have a large attacking range for the axe throw. I'd also be willing to bet that there isn't going to be a long cooldown on that throw, so as soon as the executioner grabs the axe, it's going to be able to throw it again. This is completely different from the slasher throwing knives since those have a 4-second reload. Alright, now that's all the info I have about the event tower. Now I want to talk about the themes of the different nights. The different color schemes is something that I touched on in my last video, but the difference between the nights seems to be more than just the colors. They also seem to have different themed enemies. Just to remind you, the boss for the first night is this pumpkin-headed freak. This is going to be the Halloween part of the event. From the trailer, we can see that this night is going to have an orange tint with some Halloween enemies like these scarecrows. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot of footage from this night in the trailer, so that's all I can say about it. Alright, here is a reminder that this is the leaked boss from night 2. I think the color theme for this night is green with a forest themed map. The trailer has footage of this tree guy, as well as other creatures you'd find in the woods, like a freaking werewolf running on 2 legs. Okay, that's terrifying. The werewolf also seems to have 2 different speeds, one where it's just casually strolling along the path like it's taking a peaceful walk in the woods, and the other is sprinting at full speed. Again, we have another tree monster, but this one doesn't have horns, so it must be a baby. Cool, we're gonna get to kill some baby trees. What? In this shot, we can see the swamp thing in the forest, and at this point, we need to pump the brakes because there's something interesting I want to point out that you probably missed. Here is the leaked boss from night 3. The difference is that we don't actually see this boss in the footage for the 3rd night. Now, I know this is the footage for night 3 because it has a red tint instead of an orange or green tint, and it has medieval enemies. And look at what boss is right here staring us in the face with the red tint all around it on the medieval map. It's the swamp thing. This changes everything about what I thought the wave structure was going to be for this event. Now I'm thinking that each night is going to have its own boss, but you're going to have to fight that boss again on the next night in addition to that night's special boss. So for example, we'll fight Jax on the 1st night, then again on the 2nd night plus the swamp thing, and then on the 3rd night we'll have to fight both of them again plus this dude. Go ahead and let me know what y'all think about that because it's the only explanation I can think of that would explain why we see the swamp thing on the night 3 map. Alright, now the last thing I want to talk about here is this final section of the trailer. Today while I was working on an event maps prediction video, I was taking a good hard look at this pic to try to figure out what the path was, and initially I thought that the enemies were going to enter from the right side over here, travel down the path, and eventually exit in this back left corner. But then I was like, that doesn't make any sense when you consider the totality of this image. So here's what I think is going to happen on the 4th night. This object right here is the spaceship that the Solar Queen's been driving around the universe in as she's destroying planets. It crash lands in this Colosseum, which is why you can see the walls are all messed up and the roof is missing. Now, it's also possible that this is based on the Colosseum in Rome, and that's why it looks like this. And these things right here are called scaffoldings. People use them when they work construction. This makes it look like the Colosseum was being renovated when the spaceship crashed. Now, these wind-up toy zombie guys are gonna be the Solar Queen's personal army. They don't belong to any specific night, which is why we see them in footage for multiple nights in the trailer, and they come back to life after they've already been killed. That's why we get this shot of the crank on its back winding up again as it stands up. All of the enemies on the 4th night are gonna emerge from the spaceship over here and make their way over to the other side of the Colosseum where we can see these gear things on the wall. You can just barely see them, but that's what these are. And that's how they're gonna escape to go destroy the planet. Now I'm wondering if this is based on the Colosseum in Rome. Are the maps for the other nights also well-known locations around the world? Or maybe the different nights take place at different times in history. Like the Solar Queen is making us time travel. That would explain why night 3 seems to take place outside of a castle with a bunch of medieval zombies. Okay, that's something to think about. Alright, that brings me to the end of this video. I know I dumped a lot of predictions on you, so go ahead and let me know down in the comments what you think about all this. Also, let me know if you have any predictions of your own based on the Solar Eclipse event trailer. In the meantime, go ahead and smash that like button with your forehead, hit the subscribe button with your big toe, and turn on notifications however you can so you don't miss any of my amazing upcoming content. And I will see you guys next time. Take care, be safe, and never forget what I always say. Peace out!